Come in, please, come in. I'm Nick Sherrill, the director.
I'm Adam Zephyr. This is my wife, Eve.
I do.
A pleasure indeed. Have a seat. Adam and Eve. How quaint. You must get a lot of comments on those names.
Yes, it's quite a conversation piece.
Yes. So you two are here for the prearrangement.
Right. We finally realized we're not immortal.
And it's the only way to beat inflation. Pay now, die later.
Correct on both counts, and you deserve credit for your foresight and courage. Most people don't want to deal with the incidentals of death. They prefer someone else to deal with it for them.
Since when is death incidental?
Oh, a poor choice of words, but you understand what I mean.
Indeed, it's always been my observation. It seems to me that while everybody recognizes that he is going to die eventually, nobody really believes it.
Well, we're here, Adam. We must believe it.
Only in the abstract, dear.
An observation I fully support, Mr. Zephyr. It's a curious phenomenon. In the theatre, everyone believes the death they see on stage is final. But in real life, nobody believes that death is final.
Exactly, Mr. Chairman.
Adam, this is Phil. Phil, this is Adam.
Yes, of course. Phil, we might as well keep this informal.
Of course, Adam.
Death is at the bottom of everything. Leave death to the professionals. Graham Greene.
Yes, indeed. To the professionals. You're quick with a quote, Adam.
You better get used to it. He's an English professor and a bottomless source of pithy quotations. He reads Bartlett's quotations as diversion, a quotation plagiarist of sorts. When he first told me he loved me, I wasn't sure whether it was him or some dead writer speaking.
They err who marry wives that make those little slips. Charles Stewart Calverley. Is this all the choice?
Oh, no. That's just the one on display. We're remodeling at the moment, so all the rest of our models are in the warehouse, but we do have a catalogue. Nick, could you bring Mr. Zephyr a catalogue?
Right away.
My brother and colleague, Nick Sherrill.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Zephyr.
Please meet me, Nick. Yeah.
Nick handles the business end, I do all the creative work.
Just like we did in the theater.
Oh, were you two in the theater?
Yes, indeed, for 15 years we did many productions.
And my brother thinks he's still in the theater.
It was a natural progression, a stage, a scene, a star, albeit a lifeless one, acting and high drama.
Oh, I did some acting in college. Oh, I loved it. I wanted to pursue the stage, but then marriage and kids.
You make that sound like a funeral.
We can custom make anything, and I do mean anything, Adam. We're not mere functionaries here. We're not waiting for your death and your purse. We're artists, and we believe that death is a very personal, intimate event.
Yes, dying is personal, isn't it?
Eve.
Mr. Zephyr, like my brother said, we can put you into anything you like. Gold, silver, bronze, stainless steel. This one happens to be my favorite. With a little sealant, it could be as airtight as a space capsule. Why, we could wake you up, we could dig you up in 10 years, and you would look as good as you did on the day you died. And it comes with a lifetime warranty, too.
Yeah, right.
Little humor, little gallows humor, I think they call it.
Nick, please,
What?
if you don't mind.
All right.
Oh, I rather like wood. It's natural. It reminds one of nature and going back into the earth. Feels comfortable too. I have a bad back. I wouldn't want anything too soft.
Adam.
I guarantee you you'll feel no discomfort.
Well, I know I won't be complaining about it.
Of course, it's perfectly natural to think that way because we think of comfort when we're buying a bed or a car or even a chair, but it's hard to think of something that we're going to buy and actually use, but not actually experience.
Yeah, remarkable choice of caskets you've got here, and all these different materials. Got plastic, fiberglass, aluminum. What a marble! I never knew there were so many materials you could make for caskets. Wood is rather nice. What have you got here? Oak, cedar, reminds me of our house. Bronze. And what's this? Custom-made caskets?
I believe a casket should relate in some meaningful way to a person's life, not a mere, something that goes beyond a mere box, something artistic. But then some people think that's too theatrical.
You get many buyers for this specialty stuff?
Oh yes, you'd be surprised. A lot of people want to be connected with their work or a hobby that they really enjoy, and something very meaningful to them and goes beyond and preserves the connection even after death. We buried a musician just recently in a casket shaped like a double bass, strings and all.
You're putting us on.
Is this a book? It looks like a book.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. Yes, I remember him well. A frustrated author who was writing his autobiography and he just couldn't get a publisher, and so what he decided to do was bodily put himself into a casket shaped like a book and had his name emblazoned on the outside, and his date of the copyright was his date of death, and sort of a posthumous autobiographical statement.
Sort of getting in the last word, huh? What do you think would be appropriate to bury an English professor in? A life-size thesaurus?
Oh, Eve, we're trying to do business here, and you just give us a break. Sit down.
Go ahead. Do whatever you want. I won't say a word. Make a fool of yourself. What suit are you going to wear? Not the pinstripe.
Eve, give it a rest. You see why I'm here. She's driving me to an early grave.
I should ask if you and your wife have any special requests I should be aware of.
Oh, I'd like to live forever.
I can't handle that. Maybe a clergyman? Your wife does have a sharp tongue, Adam.
Indeed, and I have the scars to prove it.
My husband's sense of humor has died before his body.
I see. Well, perhaps we should get back to this prearrangement.
Oh, yes, of course. Any AARP discounts?
Adam, don't be crass.
Crass? This is a business transaction, dear. You have no compunction about asking for discounts on dresses, houseware, appliances, travel cruises. Why am I crass for inquiring about a discount here?
No AARP discounts, Adam, but we do have a special rate for couples.
Do we have to die at the same time?
Oh, no.
Too bad. I could easily arrange a nice murder-suicide pact.
Only if you go first, Adam, and the life insurance is paid up.
Now, perhaps we should...
I'm sorry. We sometimes forget our manners, don't we, dear?
Oh, quite all right. I completely understand. I was married myself once, you know, and this is a rather dramatic event with many implications. My work here deals with the psychological as well as the physical aspects of death.
This does raise some interesting issues. Unresolved, I would say.
Yes, it does, dear, doesn't it?
I mean, it's hard to imagine being dead. Being nothing, seeing nothing, feeling nothing. I mean, it's a philosophical impossibility. You know what I mean? I mean, I can imagine lying in this thing over here, but I can't imagine what it's like really being dead. What do you think? You've been around death more than we have.
Well, there are many thoughts and feelings about death, and there are many interpretations, but we can't imagine what it's like to being dead because we don't have any experience of it. All we have experience of is being alive.
It's a non-experience. It's not like sleeping because we don't dream or get up and go to the bathroom. It's just this big nothingness, this existential void.
Now, some people wouldn't agree with that. I remember burying a priest, and the clergy were all quite happy, and I thought it was all pretty callous. But then I realised they were celebrating because they were joyous about his journey into heaven. It all depends on what you believe and how you look at it.
I think it's all over when it's over.
I see. Mrs. Zephyr. Eve! We've been neglecting you. Do you have any special requests?
Yes, I'm going to be cremated.
I see. Well, that's becoming very popular these days.
Cremated? Since when are you going to be cremated?
Since right now. I decided I want to be cremated.
Eve, you can't be cremated. We already have 2 plots side by side paid for in Graceland Cemetery under the big oak tree with a view of the Getty tomb. Cremation? You never said anything about cremation.
Adam, I have the right to be disposed of in the manner I want to be disposed of, and I want to be cremated. Besides, I hate these barbaric rituals. Passed on, the late, deceased. Dead is the damn word. Dead is a 4-letter word nobody can say. And look what it does to the environment.
Mrs. Zephyr, one could argue that cremation adds to the pollution, you know, like 6 or 7 pounds of ashes and ground up bones floating down from a plane on our lakes and rivers and our picnic tables in the park. You know, it takes electricity to do the burn.
8 pounds. 8 pounds without even dieting. I haven't weighed 8 pounds since I was born. I guess cremation doesn't do much for your revenue, does it? How much for a cremation?
Well, let's see, $750 to $1,200, depending upon what you decide to do the burn in, and whether you want a visitation or a memorial.
$1,200.
Yeah.
I can go in the backyard, douse myself with gasoline, smoke a cigarette, and immolate myself for under $5.
There are rules, there are laws
There ought to
against
be
that.
laws against you
Eve,
guys.
how can you even consider this? We've been happily married, well, at least existentially happy, for 35 years, and it's like you want separate beds. What are you thinking about? This is like a posthumous divorce. Eve, you're leaving me alone for eternity.
Adam, our marriage vows said till death do us part. It said nothing about eternity.
Oh, I can't believe this. Eve, look, we could get a little mausoleum, some stained glass, something nice. We could get something
Nice?
nice.
You make it sound like it's a cottage in the country. A mausoleum? Adam, get real. We can't afford a mausoleum, especially not in Graceland. Oh, what are we going to do? Take a second mortgage on the house so we can afford a mausoleum? Every fat cat in Chicago is buried in Graceland. Oh, the irony of all this is all of our lives we've lived in marginal neighborhoods, and now he wants to live in an affluent one when we're dead.
It's die, dear, not live. Graceland has history, class, interesting people. It's on the architectural tour. Mies van der Rohe, the great architect, Marshall Field himself, Pinkerton of the detective agency, all the Chicago mayors up. Jack Johnson, a heavyweight champion, buried in Graceland Cemetery. Everybody who was anybody in Chicago, buried in Graceland Cemetery.
Swell. And they'll be trampling across our graves to get to the interesting ones.
Eve, think about what you're doing to us.
Adam, I know this causes you pain, but it's my death, and I have a right to do with my death as I want to.
Eve, I know this is difficult, even traumatic for you, but this whole cremation business comes as a great shock to me, too, and it's so final.
You do it your way, and I'll do it mine.
Mr. Zephyr, death is a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence. And as such, we should do it justice. it's really the last time that you'll have to make a good impression. Mr. Zephyr, take a look here. Think creatively. We can provide you with anything you like. I mean, anything that you can afford.
And you're very unusual, and you've actually done all these?
Yeah, of course.
These are transitional things, Mr. Zephyr. Creature comforts for when you die, because we know you won't appreciate them then. They're now, for while you're living, to help you understand the transition from one state to the other. Do you understand?
Well, I guess so. Yeah.
It often helps one deal with the sense of loss that so often accompanies death.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. One certainly gets the blues when one dies. This guy is Looney Tunes.
Think on it, Mr. Zephyr, and give us an artistic challenge.
All I really want is something plain and secular.
My husband is a cynic and an atheist.
Cynicism is an unpleasant way of saying the truth, Lillian Heldon.
You believe in nothing.
Phil, my wife is a spiritual dilettante. 1 year it was Zen Buddhism, meditating in the bathroom for all hours while I'm pounding on the door trying to get in. The next year it's New Age, smoking incense in the living room, crystals crackling underfoot all over the damn place. We had to cut a skylight in the ceiling so she could go to sleep watching the planets. This year it's paganism, goddesses drumming at midnight to the full moon.
I'm on a spiritual journey.
Yeah, well, I think you're lost. You better try MapQuest.
I'm searching for the truth. You lost all faith and hope. He believes in nothing.
Nothing? You accusing me of that again? I'm a humanist. I believe in people, in life. What would you have me believe in? Bearded gods and myths and superstitions and fantasies and astrology? Would that make my life any more meaningful? I'm the believer. I believe in reality. I believe in humanity. I believe in the human spirit. You believe in delusions and illusions and feel-good spirituality.
You're the big realist. These are my beliefs, and I won't have you demeaning them. They're mine, and that makes them valid.
Ha!
And you, the big realist,